I was sent this best of Reddit updates. It's entitled, "Am I the a-hole for telling my husband this has nothing to do with you?" And I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it because it has an original and a couple of updates, so obviously it's going to be a little bit long. So both of them are 27. She says she and her husband just had an argument, if you could call it that. So my brother just got a job and it's great, except he just got thrown into single fatherhood immediately after. He has a daughter, my niece, who is about 6 months old and has no one to babysit her while he works, as the mother suddenly isn't in the picture. He called me asking if I could watch the baby during the week while he works, only for a few weeks since he knows I'm a stay-at-home mom myself. I would have said yes, but I can't. I'm pregnant and have 2 young kids of my own, one of which does school from home, and I have to do it with her, which we are still getting the hang of because we just moved. By the time I'd be prepared for that, he wouldn't need help anymore. He understood and asked if I knew anyone personally who could help because he was out of people to ask and wanted to try to avoid daycares as he didn't trust it. He said he would pay and cover everything, but he just urgently needed someone, and I said I'd ask around. I really don't have friends and I don't know many people in general as I'm very introverted, but my sister-in-law, who's 25, lives with us and was just telling me how she needed a job and needed money. So I proposed the idea to her. She immediately agreed, and so I put her and my brother in a group chat to talk, as well as brought my brother over to the house to have a face-to-face talk about it. Now, they're not strangers, of course. They've met before and all, so it wasn't awkward. So they talked about the baby and what was needed, etc. My brother didn't have a long-term plan mapped out right then since everything was so abrupt, but my sister-in-law was understanding and said she'd be okay with whatever, and that was that. I'm not sure of the other details as they text on their own, and it really isn't my deal. So, I'm sorry, it was up to them. But ultimately, it came down to my brother Ubering my sister-in-law to his house early in the morning and then dropping her off at home and seeing how things go, which she agreed to. Everything seemed fine until the day of. My husband came into our room and blindsided me with all these complaints on her behalf. He said my sister-in-law hadn't eaten since the morning, that she wasn't comfortable, and that she was tired, and that she didn't even need to be there because other people were home and could watch the baby, and they only gave her $100, etc. I was confused because I spoke to my sister-in-law while she was there to check on her, and she said everything was fine. So I told him she didn't say any of those things to me, and I asked her, and she said she wasn't complaining to him. I said bluntly to him, so she is not complaining, you're complaining for her? And he said, yes. I told him I was confused because he was throwing it all at me as if it's my responsibility, and that sister-in-law and my brother are 2 adults who made their own deal. That was up to her, and she agreed to it. Nobody was forcing her. If she was uncomfortable or anything, all she had to do was say it. He continued to repeat the complaints and say, do I have to get involved? I told him the deal doesn't involve him or me for that matter, and I don't understand why he's the only one upset here when it has nothing to do with him. They are adults. He told me he can't even have a conversation with me and left the room. I'm genuinely confused. Am I missing something here? My sister-in-law is also confused as to why he even got worked up to begin with. Am I the a-hole? You're absolutely not the a-hole because, yes, this is confusing. Like, why are you so upset? Why is he so upset about any of this? Sister-in-law is being paid. She's getting a ride there, so there's no real reason for her to be upset because she says she needed money. So I don't know why the husband's upset. Okay, so here's the update. I'm skipping over the comments because this is already long enough by itself. So here's the update. It says, so, since I spoke with sister-in-law and husband separately and got nowhere, I finally got a chance to sit them down together. I was calm and respectful the entire time. I flat out said, okay, so in regards to the babysitting gig, what's going on? What issues are there and where are they coming from? Husband made a scoffing sound and looked annoyed but didn't speak up. So I turned to my sister-in-law and asked her bluntly, do you have any complaints, concerns, or problems with the arrangements you and my brother made for the babysitting? She said, absolutely not. I asked her, are you sure? Did you say anything to husband that says otherwise? It's completely fine. It's completely fine if you do, but you have to speak up for yourself and talk about it, even to me, if not my brother. She said, I honestly have no issues, and I didn't complain to anybody, I swear. Then we looked at husband. She told him that she was fine with the arrangements and had no complaints. Then she asked him why he had made a scene for no reason. He got defensive and said, nobody said you were complaining. It just doesn't make sense to me. There's no point in you doing it, and it's not convenient. Are you even getting paid good? I sat there trying to understand why he was getting so defensive, and sister-in-law shot back at him, telling him it wasn't his business, and it didn't have to make sense to him, echoing exactly WTF I'd said in the first place, that it had nothing to do with him, and that she didn't appreciate him doing this without a good reason. He said he does have a reason, and when we asked what the reason was, he said, because it doesn't make sense to me. I calmly asked him which part didn't make sense to him and why he was so bothered by it when it doesn't affect his or our daily life in any way. That it didn't have to make sense to him because it wasn't his arrangement, and he got angry. He got up from his seat, rambled something about how we were ganging up on him and that we weren't going to make him out to be the bad guy and that nobody listens. Me and sister-in-law just looked at him while he rambled, and she was just as lost as me. I, still very calm, asked him what he wanted out of this and why he kept trying to involve himself when sister-in-law clearly said she's happy with the arrangement. He said, nobody effing uses their brain around here but me, I guess, and walked out. I don't know about y'all, but I'm no butt kisser and definitely wasn't about to chase after him or baby him. He was being completely ridiculous, in my opinion. So we let him go, and that was that. About an hour later, he came back and started saying things under his breath like, my own wife just let me walk out, and she doesn't even care about me, and it's just F me, and I guess I just don't matter, while sighing and dragging it out, ignoring all of it. I'm sorry, and I am ignoring all of it because grow up, dude. And he came into the room and said, so you have nothing to say to me? And I was like, nope. We tried to address things and you decided to storm off, so that's that. I think you're being dramatic and that's a you problem. He then called me inconsiderate and selfish and left. Well, I don't know what I was supposed to do there or what he's expecting, but there's the update, guys. And so I got to this point in reading this and I'm just invested like, why is this man so mad? So I kept going. I'm still not doing the comments because, like I said, this is already kind of long. Okay, here's the final update. She says, hello once again. I know a lot of you were wanting to know what's happened. With all the support from you guys, I do feel I owe you that. Things have happened and I needed time to be alone, gather myself and process. My husband kept on with the attitude, the side comments under his breath, and just being weird. I gave no reactions and ignored it because I got better things to do to give my energy to, like my pregnancy and my 2 children. Anyway, I was cleaning and my husband decided to confront me and ask me why I'm acting this way. I asked him what he meant, and he said I'm being a way towards him. And I simply told him absolutely will not coddle him for an attitude that doesn't make any sense for him to have. He got upset, rambling something about how as his wife, it should matter to me that he's upset. And I said I have done nothing to him and gave him chances to explain what was wrong, and he didn't. So it's not my responsibility to fix whatever it is. He said this was all my fault, and I asked him, what is my fault? I've done nothing but take care of our kids and our home as well as him. I told him that he made no sense, that nobody did anything to him, not me, not my brother, not my sister-in-law, no one. And I wasn't going to deal with his attitude and all, and that he could find somewhere else to say if he wasn't going to cut it out. He sat down and said, that's what I'm talking about. saying my lack of giving an S and my no-nonsense attitude is upsetting to him. I asked him why I would be wanting to put up with BS, especially while pregnant, and why would that bother him. He started all this drama over something that had nothing to do with him, and then it came. He took a deep breath and broke down with the confession after confession. He admitted that he had an affair. He admitted that he had installed a camera in our home without telling me in hopes I'd do something stupid so he could use it as defense. And that he figured out the woman he cheated with knew my brother, which is why he freaked out about sister-in-law working for him. He admitted he started drama to create an argument on purpose to give him a reason to feel justified, and my calm reactions for everything made that impossible for him. It bothered him that I never did anything wrong because he had done something wrong and couldn't shift blame. I could barely react. I just kind of looked at him. My stomach was hurting. I couldn't wrap my brain around any of it. He told me he was sorry, that he's a piece of and doesn't know why he did it, that he loves me, tearing himself down, and I just told him to stop talking. I calmly said to remove whatever camera he installed and to find somewhere else to stay. He cried and begged, and I shut it down. He asked if I was going to tell sister-in-law. You're worried about me telling people or what other people are going to think of instead of worrying about the effing damage you've just done to our family. He left, but wouldn't stop calling me trying to talk. Suddenly he wants to have a conversation, huh? How funny. I put my phone on silent and went to play with my kids, trying to be normal to shield them from it. I didn't want them to see me upset. I was broken up on the inside, had a scare. I kept having a sharp pain in my stomach, and then I started to bleed. I was effing terrified. I thought I'd lost the baby. My family helped me out. I got to the hospital. Baby is okay. I guess it was just the stress being too much. After everything settled, I got home, put my kids to bed, and cried it out. We've been together since we were like 15. I've never cheated on him ever. We're approaching 30. What type of is that? I've never had a trust issue with him before. I'm not a phone snooper. I just don't do things. And I didn't have a reason to. He's never behaved like this before. Maybe he has cheated before and I just don't know about it. I don't even care to know. One time is enough for me. I want a divorce. I will be fair about it. I will not turn our children against him. I won't drag it, but I am done. Thanks for listening, guys. And like I said, this was a long one, so I powered through it as quickly as I could. This one comment right here, yeah, he wanted a reason to make you the villain so he could say, well, she acted like this or spoke to me like this. That's why I cheated, etc. I tell everyone and tell your brother about the skank. He knows who was banging your husband. I'd block his number and use sister-in-law as a go-to when he can come and collect the kids for visitation. I know it's hard, but don't take him back. This man tried to manipulate you into being the villain, so it would justify him effing another woman. So there we go. There we have it. Now, this is how I wanted to start because we don't always need super dramatic am I the a-hole post. And so there we go. I don't necessarily know if this is real or not, but it's definitely an entertaining best of Reddit update. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this whole long drawn out saga. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.